Hi students, good morning. Welcome back to our physics classes. Let us start with our new session. During the last session, we have seen the basic properties of motion, and we have defined a graph between displacement and time. That is a time displacement graph. And that time displacement graph we have plotted taking time along x-axis and displacement along y-axis, and we have seen the different situations of a particular object, and we have plotted the time displacement graph for those different situations of a particular object. Now we have to plot another graph, which is velocity time graph. It is very similar to your displacement time graph. Instead of displacement along y-axis, here you have to plot velocity. So time is along the x-axis and the velocity along the y-axis. So similar to the displacement time graph, here also we have to see the different types of velocity time graph, which means the velocity time graphs for a particular object at different situations. Let us see that. See, the diagram shows a velocity time graph. In the diagram, you can see two lines A and B, that for two different objects A and B. And for A, the line is plotted in the positive side, and the line B is plotted with the velocity in the negative side. What it indicates? It indicates particle A is moving in the positive direction and particle B is moving in the negative direction. So its velocity is counted as negative. And moreover, the velocity of A and B, which is remain constant as 4 meter per second. Velocity remains constant throughout. So we can say that this is the graph with the constant velocity. A movement with the constant velocity is known as uniform motion. So this is the graph for uniform motion, on object at a uniform motion. Okay. So the area under the graph, some portion is shaded. From T1 to T2, you can see two different points with the time from T1 to T2, and from T1 to T2, you can have the velocity will remain the same as V. From T1 to T2, the velocity remains as V itself. So the area is V into delta T. Area is V into delta T. So when you are taking that delta V into delta T, what is V velocity? What is delta T? Change in time. Velocity into change in time. What is that? That is change in position. That is displacement. So that inference that you can draw from this graph is area under the velocity time graph in a particular interval of time is the displacement during that time. Area under the velocity time graph for a particular interval of time is the displacement during that time. So this is the graph for uniform motion. See, here you can have another graph, velocity time graph, in which velocity increases equally in equal interval of time. Velocity increases equally in equal interval of time. That kind of a motion is known as uniformly accelerated motion. That kind of movement is known as uniformly accelerated motion. Why it is called uniformly accelerated motion? Because its velocity changes. Its velocity changes means obviously it is getting accelerated. Why it is uniformly accelerated motion? Because its velocity changes equally in equal interval of time. That is why it is termed as uniformly accelerated motion. It is termed as the uniformly accelerated motion. So that is uniformly accelerated motion. Again, the area under the uniformly accelerated motion also will provide you displacement. Okay, but it is not a rectangular area. The total area you can split into two, a rectangular area as well as a triangular area, that we will use while deriving the equations of motion. Okay, anyhow, you remember that area under the velocity time graph is numerically equal to the displacement. Okay, here we have two graphs, two velocity time graphs with two objects A and B, and they are making slopes theta 1 and theta 2 with the time axis. Slope. What do you mean by slope? We have already said that that is change in y coordinate by change in x coordinate. What is taken in y direction? That is velocity. What is taken in x direction? That is time. So how you can find out the slope? Delta v by delta t. What is delta v by delta t? Acceleration. Which means slope of the velocity time graph is acceleration. The slope of velocity time graph is acceleration. Which one is having more acceleration here? Particle A or particle B? Since the slope of particle B is more than the particle A, it is having more acceleration. So the acceleration, the hint to the acceleration is given by the slope. If the slope is more, its acceleration will be more. That is another velocity time graph. See, here one more line is there, velocity time graph is there, which is making an angle more than 90 degree with the time axis. What it means? From the shape itself, it is clear that as the time increases, the velocity decreases, which means its velocity decreases with the time. What do you mean by such a motion? Such a motion is called deaccelerated motion, or it is known as retarded motion. Retarded motion or deaccelerated motion. So when the velocity time graph makes an angle more than 90 degree with the x-axis, then that will be retarded motion. That will be retarded motion. Okay. Now you see another graph which is a continuous graph. Velocity time graph is continuous. So velocity time graph is continuous means its velocity increases continuously with respect to time. Its velocity increases continuously with respect to time. So in the position time graph also we have seen such a curve, which means its position continuously changes with respect to time. So it is here it is velocity continuously changing with respect to time. It is a continuously accelerated motion. It is a continuously accelerated motion. So since it is a continuously accelerated motion, you can find out the average acceleration at a particular instant. You can find out suppose at the point P you are having a line, and if you are making the slope between P and Q, you can find out the average acceleration delta V by delta T at a particular point P when delta T tending to 0. We will come to that. Anyhow, average acceleration you can take the slope of that particular graph. So this shows a continuously accelerated motion. See here, another graph is there with its velocity time graph, which is bending upwards. Sorry, it is bending downwards. The graph is continuously bending downwards. See, such a continuous graph represents continuously decreasing acceleration. Such a graph is showing continuously decreasing acceleration. See another graph. The time velocity graph is bending upwards. Then that is a continuously increasing acceleration. Okay, so if the time velocity graph is bending downwards, then that is continuously decreasing acceleration, and when the velocity time graph is bending upwards, then continuously increasing acceleration. Okay. So these are the different pattern of velocity time graph according to the situation. That means we have different situations: uniform motion, uniformly accelerated motion, uniformly retarded motion, then continuously increasing acceleration, continuously decreasing acceleration. So that's all about velocity time graph. And two important results that you have to remember regarding the velocity time graph is area under the velocity time graph is displacement, and slope of velocity time graph is the acceleration. Slope of velocity time graph is the acceleration. Okay, so that's all about velocity time graph. So we have seen position time graph, and now we have seen velocity time graph, and we can go for acceleration time graph. Acceleration time graph is also very similar to your velocity time graph, and one change is there: instead of velocity along y-axis you have to plot acceleration. So that is acceleration time graph. See the time acceleration graph here. Time is taken along x-axis and acceleration is taken along y-axis, and acceleration is constant throughout. Acceleration is constant throughout. So that is a graph for movement with constant acceleration. Movement with constant acceleration. So what do you mean by constant acceleration? That means its velocity changes equally in equal interval of time. Okay, so the area under the acceleration time graph, what will be that? A multiplied by delta t. Is it? Pattern is very similar. So from t1 to t2, A remains constant. So t2 minus t1 taken as delta t multiplied by A is the area of the shaded portion. So A into delta t is equal to delta v, because A is equal to delta v by delta t. That is change in velocity you can find out as the area under the acceleration time graph. Change in velocity is getting when you are taking the area under the acceleration time graph. See, another graph is there, that is time acceleration graph, in which acceleration is continuously increasing with respect to time. Acceleration is continuously increasing with respect to time. So two types of acceleration time graph we have to see. One is constant acceleration, then constantly increasing acceleration. So that is time acceleration graph. And what is the inference that you can take from the acceleration time graph? That is, area under the acceleration time graph is change in velocity. So that is velocity time graph and acceleration time graph. So three different types of graphs we have seen: displacement time graph, velocity time graph, and acceleration time graph. And from displacement time graph, area under the velocity under the slope under the velocity time graph is slope of the displacement time graph is the velocity, and slope of velocity time graph is acceleration. Area under the velocity time graph is displacement. Area under the acceleration time graph is the velocity, change in velocity. Okay. So we have seen the different properties of motion. That means different terms related to motion. That are the different properties of motion, in which we have initial position, final position, displacement, velocity, initial velocity and final velocity, then acceleration, and along with all those terms, one invisible matter is there. What is that? Invisible factor is there. What is that? That is your time. So we have initial velocity, initial position, final position, displacement, initial velocity, final velocity, acceleration and time. These are the different terms related to, or the different factors related to motion. So we have to find out an interrelation between all these. We have to have a relation between interrelation between these factors. That kind of interrelation between these matters is known as equations of motion. It's known as equations of motion. So equations of motion you have already came across, and you have derived equations of motion. And how many equations of motions are there? 3. One more is there, that 4 equations of motions are there, and 3 are familiar to you. First one is v is equal to u plus at. Second one is v square, s equal to ut plus half at square. And the third one is v square is equal to u square plus 2as. And the fourth one is we are going to derive. And these equations of motion you have already derived using the method of graph. Graphical method is familiar to you. And the same equations of motion you have to derive using calculus also. I already told you calculus is a new method for you. So now we are going to derive these equations of motion using graph or graphical method, and after that we will going to derive the same using the method of calculus. Okay, so now we can go for the graphical derivation, derivation of equations of motion based on graph, that is graphical method. So the graph that we are used for deriving the equations of motion is motion with the uniform acceleration. Movement with the uniform acceleration. So velocity time graph for a uniformly accelerated motion. Velocity time graph for a uniformly accelerated motion. Okay, for deriving the equations of motion, we are making use this diagram. For deriving equations of motion, we are making use this diagram. See, this is a situation for a particle which is moving with an initial velocity u. And when you start your observation, you found that that object is having the velocity u. That is the initial velocity. And after a time t, you can find that object is moving with a velocity v. That is, during its time t, its velocity changes from u to v, and its velocity increases equally in equal interval of time, which means it is a constant acceleration a. And you remember all these terms, that is OA is u, BD is v, AC is t, and which is very similar to OD. The different points that marked there that you see, different points are there. O, A, B, C, D are there. OA is equal to u, BD is equal to v, and CD is equal to u, BD or BC is equal to v minus u. All these matters, all these you have to remember, and we can refer back to the diagram when it is required. Okay, so this is a situation when you start observing an object, its velocity is u, and after when you are making the final observation, its velocity is v, and during its motion, it is having a constant acceleration a, and it takes a time t for changing its velocity from u to v. This is the condition. And we can start deriving the equations of motion. Okay, we can start with the first equation of motion. And we know that slope of velocity time graph is acceleration. So you have to find the slope of this graph. Slope of the graph is given by BC divided by AC. BC divided by AC. What is BC? V minus u. What is AC? That is t. So the slope will become BC by AC will become V minus u by t. That is, V minus u is equal to AT, V is equal to u plus AT. That is your first equation of motion. That is your first equation of motion. So we have the first equation of motion, V is equal to u plus AT, as the slope of the velocity time graph. Slope of the velocity time graph. So you just calculate the slope of the velocity time graph, and using that diagram we can have V is equal to u plus AT. So V is the final velocity, u is the initial velocity, A is the acceleration. So that is the relation between velocity and acceleration. initial velocity, final velocity and acceleration. Okay, now we can go for the second equation of motion. What is second equation of motion? S equal to ut plus half a t square. And we are going to derive that equation as S equal to ut plus half a t square. What is S? Displacement. How you can find out displacement from the velocity time graph? Area under the velocity time graph is displacement. Area under the velocity time graph is displacement. Okay, so here that area under the velocity time graph, you can take that total area is ABDO. Total area is ABDO, and you can split that total area into two area. A area of rectangle ACDO plus area of the triangle ABC. Area of rectangle ACDO plus area of the triangle ABC. Okay, then how you can find out the area of rectangle ACDO? That is DC multiplied by AC. How you can find out the area of triangle ABC? Since it is a right triangle, that is half base into height, half into CB into AC. Is it? Half BC into AC. Now you can have what is DC? DC is equal to U. Can you find from the diagram? DC is equal to U and AC equal to T. Then BC is equal to V minus U and again AC is equal to T. Okay, that is used here. So area of the rectangle ACDO is equal to DC into AC. All those matters are there. So S will become ut plus half into V minus U into T. Okay, when you are substituting from the diagram, we will get it. And V minus U, according to the first equation, V minus U is equal to AT. So you replace V minus U is equal to AT here. So S will become ut plus half AT square. So final equation will become S equal to ut plus half AT square. Ut is equal to, S equal to ut plus half AT square. So S equal to ut plus half AT square you derived as the area under the velocity time graph. Area under the velocity time graph, and you have calculated that area as the area of a rectangle plus area of a triangle. Okay, and this is the relation between displacement and acceleration and velocity. So S equal to ut plus half AT square. S is displacement, U is velocity, initial velocity, and A is the acceleration. So that is the second equation of motion. Now we can go for the third equation of motion. Third equation of motion is V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. See, the third equation is also we are deriving as the area under the velocity time graph. But the method we chosen for finding the area is somewhat different from the second equation. In second equation, total area you divided into two, a rectangular area as well as a triangular area. But here, what we are going to do is we are not splitting that total area, but we are considering that total area as a trapezium. What is a trapezium? Trapezium is a geometry with the two parallel sides separated by a distance. So how you can find out the area of a trapezium? Area of a trapezium can be calculated as the equation A is equal to half into sum of parallel sides multiplied by distance between the sides. Geometry, is it? See, the third equation of motion, you can find out the area of the trapezium. So area of the trapezium is sum of parallel sides multiplied by distance between them divided by 2. See, the trapezium is ABCDO. The trapezium is ABCDO. Which are the parallel lines here? OA and DB. OA and DB are the parallel sides, and OD is the distance between the parallel sides. So the area equation will become S equal to, but area is equal to OA plus DB multiplied by OD divided by 2. OA plus DB divided by 2 multiplied by OD, which is equal to half into what is OA plus DB, that is U plus V, multiplied by OD. What is OD? OD is equal to T. So that will become half into V plus U multiplied by T. Half into V plus U multiplied by T. Is it clear from the diagram? Okay. OA, U, DB, V, which are the parallel sides, some of them will be U plus V. OD is the distance between the parallel sides, that is T. So U plus V multiplied by T divided by 2. Okay. So equation will become area, but area is numerically equal to the displacement. So S equal to half U plus V into T. What is T? From first equation you are displacing T by U minus, V minus U divided by A. V minus U divided by A. So that equation will become half into V plus U multiplied by V minus U divided by A. In the numerator you can have V plus U into V minus U. What is that? A plus B into A minus B. What is A plus B into A minus B? That is A square minus B square. So this will become V square minus U square divided by 2A. What is in the left hand side? S. So V square minus U square by 2A is equal to S. So V square minus U square will become 2AS. From there you can have V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. Is it clear? Okay. So that is our third equation of motion. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. That is our third equation of motion. So you see, first equation we have derived as the slope of the velocity time graph. Second equation we derived as the area under the velocity time graph. But we considered that area as the sum of a rectangular area and a triangular area. Then you got S equal to UT plus half AT square. For the third equation also you have considered the area under the velocity time graph, but here we have considered that as the area of a trapezium, and the area of trapezium is given by S equal to half into sum of parallel sides multiplied by the distance between them. So you finally are getting the equation V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. So these are the three familiar equations to you, and the fourth equation of motion is important. All these equations of motion are important, and the fourth equation of motion is a particular type of equation that gives you the displacement at a particular instant of time. Generally, we are calculating the displacement between two instances. Suppose from T1 to T2, what is the displacement? Suppose at the time T1 you are taking its position, at T2 you are taking its position. By the time when it is moving from T1 to T2, what is the displacement? But the fourth equation helps you to find out what is the displacement at a particular instant of time. What is the displacement at the particular instant of time? How it will be? Suppose you are calculating the displacement during t seconds, and you are finding the displacement during t minus 1 second. When you are subtracting these, you will get the displacement in tth second. Is it? Displacement during t seconds you can calculate. Displacement during t minus 1 seconds you can calculate. When you subtract these two, you will get the displacement in tth second. Displacement in during 5 seconds, displacement during 4 seconds you can find out. Then you can find out displacement in 5th second. That is our third. Okay, here also you are making use the trapezium method. We are making use the trapezium method. So we are having the same velocity time graph, and you are calculating the area for t seconds. We are calculating the area up to t minus 1th second, and you are subtracting these two areas so as to get the area for tth second. Area for the tth second is the displacement for the tth second. Okay. Okay, so this is the diagram for finding the fourth equation of motion. Can you see that? So the same velocity time graph is used, but here we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Different points are denoted. F is at a t minus 1 and E is at a t. So if you are calculating displacement of particle in tth second, and from t minus 1 second to t seconds, its motion is the area of the trapezium BCEF. Is it? Trapezium BCEF shows the displacement in tth second. So the displacement tth second is equal to half into BF plus CE multiplied by FE. BF plus CE multiplied by FE. Now you see FE is equal to OE minus OF. Is it? That is T minus T minus 1. That is equal to 1. So that is an important result. FE is equal to 1. Is it clear? FE is equal to OE minus OF, which is equal to T minus 1, which results in 1. Then S in the tth second, displacement tth second is equal to half into BF plus CE into FE. Since FE comes 1, that will become half into BF plus CE. And CE, you can take it as DE plus CD. CE, you can take it as DE plus CD. So that will become half into BF plus DE plus CD. CE you replaced by DE plus CD. Now, from the diagram, BF and DE are same. BF and DE are same. So, DE you can replace by BF. DE you can replace by BF. So, the S tth second will become half into BF plus CD. When you take half into the bracket, that will result BF plus half into CD. BF plus half into CD, which is equal to FG plus BG plus half CD. BF we are taking as FG plus BG. BF you are replacing by FG plus BG plus half CD will remain there. Then what is FG? FG from the diagram it is equal to U. Then equation will become S is equal to U plus BG plus half CD. U plus BG plus half CD. Now we are going to express BG and CD in terms of velocity or acceleration. Okay, for that we know acceleration is equal to slope of velocity time graph, which is a velocity time graph here AC. So velocity time graph AC, its slope is BG by AG. Is it? BG by AG can be taken as its slope, which is equal to CD by BD. You can take a slope on the same line between any two different points. Okay, so acceleration A can be BG by AG, which is equal to CD by BD. So from the first A is equal to BG by AG, you can write BG is equal to A into AG. BG is equal to A into AG, but AG is equal to AG is equal to OF, which is equal to T minus 1. So that will become BG will become A into T minus 1. A into T minus 1. And when you are considering the second equation, that is A is equal to CD by BD, A equal to CD by BD, second part of that equation, we can write CD is equal to A into BD. CD is equal to A into BD. And from the diagram, BD is equal to EF. We have already got EF is equal to 1. So that will become simply A. Hence, CD will become A and BG will become A into T minus 1. Now you are substituting in that equation S. So S equal to U plus A into T minus 1 plus A by 2. U plus A into T minus 1 plus A by 2. Okay. So nothing we have done, we have replaced BG. Equation is U plus A into BG plus CD half CD. U plus BG plus half CD. So BG you got it as A into T minus 1 and CD you got it as A. So that equation will become U plus A into T minus 1 plus A by 2. And when you are rearranging, that means you take that AT plus AT minus A is equal to, S equal to U plus AT minus A plus A by 2. Minus A plus A by 2 will become half A, minus half A. So, if you are keeping half A as common from the second and third terms, what will become U plus half A into 2T minus 1. Simple mathematics. U is equal to half A into 2T minus 1. Is there any confusion? Don't be get confused. Whatever you have done is, you break that second bracket as AT minus A. Then from that AT term, half A you are taken out. So that will become half A into 2T. And minus A and A plus 2 will be result in minus A by 2. That minus A by 2 you have taken out. So, A by 2 you have taken out. So, what is remaining there? Minus 1. So, U plus half A into 2T minus 1. That is resulting there. Okay, so your fourth equation of motion will become as S equal to U plus half A into 2T minus 1. U plus half A into 2T minus 1. So we have derived all the four equations of motion. First one is V is equal to U plus AT. Second equation is S equal to UT plus half AT square. Third equation is V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. And the fourth equation is S equal to U plus half A into 2T minus 1. And these are the four equations of motion. Okay, so these all the four equations of motion we derived using the same graph, that is the velocity time graph. And the first equation we derived as the slope of the velocity time graph. Second equation we derived as the area under the velocity time graph, but that area you have calculated as the sum of two areas, a rectangular area plus a triangular area. And the third equation of motion also you have derived using the same method, the area under the velocity time graph, but the difference is you have chosen that area as the area of trapezium. And the fourth equation also you derived using the same method of trapezium, the area of a trapezium, but you have derived that equation as the displacement in a particular instant of time, that is the tth second, displacement in the tth second, and you got it as S equal to U plus half A into 2T minus 1. So that are the four equations of motion, four equations of motion. And we have seen the different properties of motion, then different types of graphs that we are making use, and finally the equations of motion. And the same equations of motion we have to derive using the method of calculus. So there is a particular method of calculus. It's invented by Isaac Newton, the great scientist Isaac Newton. And there are two types of calculus methods: integral calculus and differential calculus. So before you are deriving equations of motion using the method of calculus, we have to learn some general results in integration and calculation. The method is not required now. We didn't require the what is the method of integration, what is the method of differentiation, and what are the basic idea of integration and differentiation. That theoretical knowledge is not necessary, but we have to remember some general rules in integration and differentiation. That is, we are continuously or constantly making use in our physics derivations. So that we have to discuss in the next class. Okay, so that's all for today, and revise it, make the notes, and try to revise it the same day itself. Otherwise, it will be a problem. In initial class, I told you, the first class I told you, be up to date with the subject, then only it will be easy for you. Okay, so that's all for today. Be safe at home, prepare for your board exams also, and we will meet in the next class. Bye.